If you look at Australian car sales figures, then you're going to notice three key trends. 1, SUVs, 2, SUVs, and 3, premium SUVs. This is an Audi Q5 and it's a tangible example of all three of those trends. So let's find out just why people are so obsessed with their premium SUVs. Hopping inside the Audi cabin, and I actually kind of get it. First of all, there's the door clang, which is that typical German thud, which is really satisfying. Then there's the fact that every material you touch just feels really premium. It all feels like it's been screwed together to survive a bomb blast, and all the plastics are really nice to run your hands along. Then there's the fact that the media system, it's really nice and intuitive and easy to use, and every little control you touch kind of feels like it's been calibrated to have the ample, perfect amount of resistance to every little input you give. And then there's the other little touches, like when you open the doors at night, the word Quattro is illuminated onto the ground, which is pretty nifty. So before we get this car out onto the open road to see what it's really made of, I thought it was important, given it is a family-focused car, to test out some of its family-focused practicalities in an environment that it's going to spend the majority of its time. Its natural habitat, which isn't only Sydney's leafy North Shore around me, but also more specifically, the school zone. It's a nice place to be for backseat passengers as well. There's plenty of rear head and rear leg room, as well as a nice set of air vents and good all-round visibility. And you don't need to exert yourself when you want to close the tailgate. Alright, now we've got all the boring parts out of the way, let's see what this car is really made of. So let's call a spade here. This is a big SUV and it's heavy, it's 1.7 tons. But at the same time, it doesn't actually feel that massive because this engine, it's really enjoyable to give it a good rev because it's got extremely good pulling power and feels really fast. So I can only imagine what an actual SQ5 is like to drive. It handles pretty well as well. Like, obviously there'll be a bit of body roll going around big corners because it's a big SUV, but on the whole, the all-wheel drive system grips really nicely and it's just a very pleasant car to drive. The steering, it's pretty good. It's not overly communicative, doesn't deliver that much feedback, but it's really nicely weighted, progressive feeling, and it's not too heavy, so around town it's a very pleasant car to drive. The 8-speed automatic transmission, it's also a really good unit, very fast, intuitive and smooth shifting. And I guess smooth is kind of the word which encapsulates what this car is about. It's just a really smooth experience. It's very pleasant to be in for a long journey. It's very comfortable, the seats are very good, the forward visibility, the ride height is also really good. The cabin is very well insulated, meaning there's not much road or tyre noise, it's very quiet. The ride comfort, it's pretty good, it's not amazing. It does bump around a bit, but overall it isn't too jittery and it's nothing that's a deal breaker at all. So having been in the Q5 for just over 5 hours now, it's been a very short but sweet love affair. Do I get the whole premium SUV thing? Well, I kind of do. After a long, hard day's work, this is a nice car to hop into. But for about 20k less, you could also get yourself a Mazda CX-9. It doesn't have the badge, but it has an extra row of seats in the back. The new model looks great, and you also get some added Japanese reliability. Then, if you want to go off-road, not sure how much this Q5 would like being taken off-road, or cope for that matter. You could get yourself a Prado or an Everest for similar money. But then again, none of those alternatives I mentioned have this badge, or this cabin. And as a daily drive, it kind of makes sense if you can afford it.